So I just returned from a trip to the one and only New York City. And I wanted to do a little bit of a recap on it because I did a lot of filming there. So without further ado, here we go. So to start the trip, we drove down to Cleveland, Ohio, and we took an overnight Greyhound bus into the city. Now, a few things to note with that bus. Number one, we thought we were going to be late because we arrived there at the time the bus was supposed to depart. Barely made it, like literally. We arrived here at the time our bus was supposed to depart. We're lucky. But the bus ended up being an hour late. Second, the AC was stuck on the bus. So we got like no sleep all night. It was freezing cold. Octavius, how's the bus ride?
It's terrible. I hate it.
Why?
Because it's so damn cold.
Warming up with cappuccino and breakfast food. Either way, we arrive in New York City and we meet up with our friend Peter. Hey!
I have to think about
Look at you, New Yorker wearing all black and everything. The reason we went to New York is because Peter is doing an internship there and he's living in an NYU like dorm apartment thing. So we're able to stay with him and we don't have to pay to stay overnight in New York City, meaning super cheap trip. So the first thing we do in the city is we throw our stuff all in Peter's apartment and then we go out and grab some brunch. Now we went to this place called Waffles and Dinges. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a really good Belgian waffle restaurant. Really good. It was really good. And after that, we went back to Peter's apartment. We kind of just hung out a little bit. I think I might have fallen asleep for a few minutes. Then in the afternoon, we headed out to Brooklyn to go to Coney Island. Not the amusement park, we went to the beach.
I feel nice, like sugar with spice. Oh, I feel nice, sugar with spice.
While we were there, we got some nice hot dogs from Nathan's. They're the people that hold like the hot dog eating contest every year. We spent quite a few hours at the beach, so by the time we were heading back, it was getting kind of late. And we had like a slight dinner, but we hadn't really eaten a ton. So we stopped at this market and got some ramen noodles. And apparently these are supposed to be like almost as spicy as Buffalo Wild Wings blazing sauce. But I don't think they were. I mean, we tried them, they were hot. So that kind of concluded our first day in New York. Day 2. Now right before this trip, I got a pair of Snap spectacles. If you don't know what spectacles are, they are sunglasses with a camera that are made by Snapchat. And you can film with them and then upload to your Snapchat story. And the video films in a circle. So on day 2, I basically filmed everything with those. So I have tons of video from that. And most of it I didn't even upload to Snapchat. So it was a Monday and Peter still had to work for his internship. So he kind of worked a 9 to 5. So we had half of the day, just Octavius and I, to do whatever. And this was my second time in New York, but it was Octavius's first. So we tried to get a mix of the big spots, but then also some like less super touristy areas. But what we did this day was we went downtown and we just kind of explored downtown. After that, we met up with a friend that we know from marching band who was in the city, and we kind of just hung out and talked with him, and then he told us to go check out the Staten Island Ferry, which is a free ferry ride that goes to Staten Island, but you can get really cool views of Manhattan from it, and it's free, like I said. It took about an hour in total, because we went to Staten Island and then we just hopped on and went right back, but the views were awesome. After the ferry, we headed over to the World Trade Center area. We saw the pools from the Twin Towers. We saw One World Trade Center, the tallest building in NYC. 4 World Trade Center, which is really cool because if you look up, it just like, it's reflective and it basically just like disappears into the sky. Then we saw the Westfield Mall, which is this really cool shopping mall downtown. And it kind of looks like a skeleton almost. It's really cool, and on the inside, I think it's like 3 floors tall, and it's really open. So right there is the World Trade Center, One World Trade Center, and then we're in the Oculus, which I believe is 2 World Trade Center, and it's a really cool shopping mall. So we kind of just looked through there. We found some weird stores, like there was a Ford store. What? Okay. At this point in the day, we'd been using our phones a lot, so we needed to charge them up. So we kind of just hung out in the Apple store for a little bit. 2-level Apple store. I also almost spilled coffee on a brand new MacBook there. So then we met up with Peter again to grab some dinner. Now there was this place that I knew about from a YouTuber I watch, and supposedly on Mondays they had $1 fish tacos. We're getting $1 fish tacos right now from a place called Cooper's. See, the thing that I didn't know about it, not getting $1 fish tacos, because the catch is it's with a drink purchase, and I can't purchase a drink, and also they're really expensive. So, the more you know. So we didn't end up getting the fish tacos. Instead, we just headed back in the direction of Peter's apartment, and we went to this place called 5 Napkin Burger, which is this really awesome burger place. Waiting on a blue cheeseburger. Because look at it. Kind of expensive, but really good. We all gotta clean our palates with these pickles. And this is the spicy blue. So on our 3rd day in the city, we decided to head up towards Central Park. So today we are headed to Central Park to hang out in the park and just kind of figure out what we're gonna do as we're there. But that's #1 goal. Also, I can't express how awesome I feel holding my camera set up in New York City. Now I actually pulled out my camera, the tripod, the mic, and it feels awesome. Before we went into the park, we checked out Carnegie Hall. Luckily it was unlocked, so we could go in the lobby and look at it. We didn't get to actually go in the performance hall, but it was cool to see the lobby of this place that has so much history behind it. And also, we made it to Carnegie Hall. And then we went into the park. Now, one thing that I was kind of hoping to see more of at this point in the trip was live street musicians. Up until now, we hadn't really seen any. So I think what I found out is that you'll see a lot of street musicians in Central Park because we kept passing them. And they were pretty good too. Okay, this is awesome. We passed quite a few musicians who are just playing with headphones on, and it's crazy because they're probably playing 2 a song or just 2 music, but we only hear their part. It's awesome. So we kept going further into the park. I think our goal was kind of to get up to the lake in it, but we didn't really know where it was, so we were just kind of wandering around. It's crazy how parts of Central Park, literally you can't see the city around you, and it looks like you're in a forest.
Wish I could save you. Seems like it shouldn't be so hard. Wish I could replace you. Maybe we could leave it all behind. Oh, I wouldn't mind.
Another thing we saw a lot of in the park was my least favorite building in the city, which is 432 Park Avenue. I do not like that building. Ew. Favorite building in NYC? Least favorite building in NYC. Favorite? Least favorite. Best? Worst. Good? Bad. Ew. It's still pretty ugly from close up. Not impressed. Not impressed. Ew. It's an eyesore. And we saw it a lot. And it's the 2nd tallest building in Manhattan. After Central Park, again, we needed to charge our phones. So we tried to go to a Starbucks, but this Starbucks was literally a block away from the Met Museum. So it was kind of packed and there was no space, no free outlets. So we decided to go to another coffee shop. It took us like 2 more coffee shops to actually find one with outlets that are open. And even then we were kind of squeezed in. But after that we decided to head more toward Midtown. We checked out Grand Central Terminal. I love that there's just casually an Apple store in there. And after Grand Central, we met up with Peter in Times Square. So we're in Times Square. Now, here's the thing about Times Square. I hate it. I love the city because it's so big and with so many people, I just thrive off the energy of them. But Times Square is just different. It stresses me out to be there. But the one cool thing that did happen there was I think there was like this short film that was being shot as we were there. I think I'm watching a short film being shot right now in Times Square. Now I can't remember this exactly, and I didn't take any videos of it to remind myself, but I think this night we got halal for dinner. It's a big thing in New York. There's like carts all over on the sides of the streets, and it's really good too. And finally, our last day in the city, day 4. Now in the morning, I did this really awesome thing. I went for a run in New York City.
Don't you ever be sad or lean on me when the times get bad. When a day comes and you are down in a river of trouble, I'm about to drown, but just hold on. I'm coming, just hold on. I'm coming. I'm on my way. Your lover. Ooh, when you get cold, I'll be your cover. You don't have to worry, because I'm here. I don't need to suffer, because I'm near. Just hold on. I'm coming. Hold on. Yeah, I'm coming. Just hold on.
Later in the day, Octavius and I decided to go downtown and walk across the Brooklyn Bridge into Brooklyn, and we were gonna grab some pizza there. Now, we got off the train, up onto the bridge, maybe like 10 feet on, and it started raining. And we were like, okay, this isn't bad as long as it doesn't rain any harder. And then it started pouring. So we decided to come out to the Brooklyn Bridge, but then it started pouring.
If you can see us, I'm surprised.
I can't stop the clip. By this point, we were like a third of the way across the bridge. We were at like a big post in it, and everyone was just huddled around it. It was literally raining sideways. Everything on us was getting soaked, and I was afraid because I had my camera, I had my phone, I had my spectacles, and it was just a mess. And we decided there's no way we're finishing crossing this bridge. We might as well just go back, take the subway across the river.
The rain is not letting up. Oh my god. We're just running down the bridge. I'm barefoot.
And of course, when we get there via subway, it stops raining and doesn't rain for the rest of the day. But now we were soaked, but we were about to have pizza. So we went to Giuliana's Pizza in Brooklyn. It's like right over the bridge. That was, without a doubt, the best pizza I've had in my life.
Amazing, probably the best pizza I've ever had.
Agreed. Totally worth getting drenched in the rain for. That just totally forgot about that. It's such good pizza. So we got some cannoli. Not quite the Acciaioli cannoli, but we'll give it a shot. And then since it wasn't raining, we decided to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge back into Manhattan. And when we got back, we walked over to the World Trade Center. One World Trade Center. We went up to the top. Now, as far as I know, there's 3 major buildings to go up in New York, and that is One World Trade Center, the Rockefeller Center, and then the Empire State Building. Now, I had the opportunity to already go up the Empire State Building, and it's also super expensive, especially if you want to go to the 102nd floor. One World Observatory is a lot cheaper. It was only like $37, which is reasonable. And the cool thing about the One World Observatory is you're in Lower Manhattan, so you can see Midtown, you can see the Empire State, the Chrysler Building, all that stuff. But you also have a really good view of the Bay. You can see the Statue of Liberty perfectly clearly, more of like Staten Island and all that cool stuff. So it was a different experience. It's cool to have been up both the Empire State and One World Trade. Now when we got back down, we decided we were going to go over to Little Italy. On our way to Little Italy, we passed the Casey Neistat / Beam / Sam Shepard / other people's studios. Casey Neistat's studio. Me with it. Alright, I'm done. That was awesome. By Casey Studio, by Beam HQ, by Sam Shepard Studio. Most of the biggest YouTube names have been there. So that's really cool. And actually the lights were on in Casey's studio, so we totally could have been there while we were outside taking pictures. Just a side note, I didn't wait there for him to come out. I know he hates that, so I wouldn't do that. And that's also just...
Yo, what the heck? Yo, it's like you can make a vlog.
Yeah. Also on our way to Little Italy, we passed a Red camera store, like the really expensive cinema cameras. I did not know Red has a store in New York. Seven cannoli hotspots in the US. I missed St. Louis. Oops. So then we met up with Peter for the day, and we wanted to save some money, so instead of going out to eat, we bought some food and took it back to his apartment to cook. We ended up having a very Italian night. Peter was the head chef, by the way. All credit goes to him, but we helped, and we made spaghetti with Alfredo sauce and then red sauce, and it was very good. It got very Godfather-y for a little bit there. So then it was time for Octavius and I to take off. That siren is annoying. Okay, I guess I'm not gonna vlog. So we just departed Peter's summer abode. This is impossible. So we just left Peter's abode for the summer. He's only here another week and then he's gone. Now we're headed up to the bus station. We actually had a very close call with our bus back, and that bus ride was a lot better. The AC was a little more reasonable, and we got back to Cleveland. My car was not stolen or broken into, and we made it home. Overall, this trip was probably the most successful trip I've ever gone on. I spent less than $400 in New York for 4 days. That's less than $100 a day, which is kind of crazy because that's almost impossible unless you do it the way we did, where you know someone to stay with and you kind of play it cheaply. So it was an awesome second time being in New York. If I have the chance to go again, I certainly will because I love the city. And if you ever get the opportunity to go like this, you should most definitely take advantage of it because it's not a common opportunity to be able to stay with a friend in New York and be able to do so much without spending so much money. So I hope you enjoyed this little retelling of my trip. If you want to see more from my spectacles, you should definitely follow me on Snapchat. Username right here. And with that, Ace out.